I don't believe it's possible to live well without eating well. Now, of course, this means different things on different days. But whatever the day, I want food that makes me feel good, not just when I'm eating it, but when I'm cooking it too. That's a big heap of gorgeousness there. Simply Nigella is about dishes that do just that. Recipes that relax and restore, uplift and enrich. And that's perfect. Food I've enjoyed with family and friends.
Amazing.
As I've settled into my new kitchen and where I am in my life right now. Come with me, if you will, to the dark side. And I mean dark. I believe with all my heart that what and how we cook can make us feel better and more alive.
Absolutely delicious.
And for me, a meal, however simple, is a celebration of life. And life is there to be celebrated. I think little rituals are so important in life, and a special one of mine is a weekly jaunt to a favourite shop where I pick up one or two things, but always a particular loaf of bread that forms the basis of a breakfast I eat more than any other. This loaf has a name I love saying, Dinkelbrot. In other words, German spelt bread. Its nuttiness and heft makes it the perfect partner for the delicate, smooth flesh of avocado. I'm fully aware that avocado toast isn't a recipe, but it's part of the fabric of my life. I'm ready to eat it no matter what the time of day, but I have to say, it comes in particularly handy for breakfast on those days when you fear that lunch may be later than you'd like. I like Hass avocados. Not least because it's easiest with these to tell whether they're ripe or not, because the dark green skin, that sort of crocodile skin, goes a purpley black. This is one of my favourite bits. The sound I get when I scrape that last bit of avocado. I love that buttery green flesh in the inside and that slightly brighter green by the skin. If I'm eating this at supper, I like the heady aniseed flavour of coriander, but at other times of day, I like its more delicate cousin, dill. I think part of the point of avocado is that smoothie, rich blandness, but I need salt with that. Just as important for me, I always have to have a squeeze of lime. I know it's breakfast, but let's put a bit of fire in the engine. Some dried chili flakes. And my latest development in avocado toast experimentation, some ginger for extra pep. This is my favoured method, peeling ginger, just with the tip of a teaspoon. And a little sedentary grating. Don't mind me while I mash. My toast of choice is ready and waiting. I can pile this on. I'm all about the pink and green at the moment, and I have some breakfast radishes to crown my avocado toast with. It just is never a bad thing to start the day with something so beautiful. As much as I derive pleasure from the taste and beauty of food, I want the entire process, from inspiration to empty plate, to make me happy.
Perfect.
Whether it's a spiced cauliflower and chickpea salad for one, a fragrant cake to share, or a messy lamb feast for my family and friends. But above all, I relish how the ideas for my recipes are so often a result of joyous encounters with people or places. One of the things that has galvanised and inspired me in the kitchen recently was a holiday I took to Thailand last year. I've been looking forward to it so much, and it didn't disappoint. I wish I could say that my travel notebook was full of profound thoughts, but that would be a lie. All I did was stare at the sea and the sky and eat. The markets there are so beautiful and so full of slightly different, unfamiliar produce that just made me long to cook. It's also where my fixation with pink and green started, and it continues apace. I think the best that can be said about this photo is that it shows that happiness trumps good hair. Apart from the fact that this is a very bad photograph, what this reminds me of is the wonderful noodle dishes I ate while I was there. Every day, something a bit different, but always so fresh and vibrant and full of flavour. And this. I ate something which was a noodle dish with cinnamon and prawns, and I know it sounds really, really odd, but it was extraordinary. I've never eaten anything like it, and I knew I couldn't leave Thailand without the recipe. I've been alive a long time, and when it comes to eating, I've spent that time wisely and well. So it's not often I come across something that tastes so different to anything I've eaten before. This is a stir-fry, comforting and familiar, warm with ginger, and hot with garlic. When I first ate this, it was cooked by a chef called Tum, spelt, or rather transliterated, T-U-M, very gratifying. And he used Chinese celery, which is really mostly thin stalk and a lot of leaf. So what I do is I use what I think of as the shoots from a leafy stick of celery, which I chop, none too fastidiously, you'd be shocked to hear. And what the celery gives is an anise flavour, but with herbal freshness. Now comes the same, but bringing base, star anise. And as if to amplify the star anise, some cinnamon, crumbled in shards. I'm making a base for the prawns to cook in. So on top of those spices, some dark soy sauce, steady with this. And on top of that, some light soy sauce, or thin, this is called, this Thai version, with a fantastically fat child on it. A small dollop of oyster sauce for richness. And don't faint, some ready ground pepper. I never thought I'd see the day when I use school pepper in my cooking. But this really works. Now some water. Chicken stock concentrate. I never feel bad about using stock that isn't homemade. Chef Tum used chicken powder, and that's the nearest thing I can get to it. And then some ketchup mayonnaise, which is like sweet soy ketchup. And into this bubbling brown liquid go the prawns. Wouldn't we all like to pop out to the local market to pick up some fresh, plump prawns and then stroll back down the beach? A large sun hat for me. But if I didn't think these frozen prawns worked here, I certainly wouldn't be cooking with them. Some of the sweetness of the prawns goes into this brown liquor, And those deep spices cling to the prawns. And in go some glass noodles, cooked and drained. And stand back while I toss this together. I've always thought of Thai cooking as sprightly and sharp. But there's something about the darkness and depth of this which is exciting. And now a startling punch of ground cloves and a pinch of ground cinnamon. Now, obviously, none of these ingredients is new, but it's how they're used in a particular way that makes them taste so different, and that is the essence of what cooking is. This is Thai seafood as you've never tasted it. Tawny tangle of noodles. And these golden prawns. I rather love the shards of cinnamon going through it. Obviously, they're not to be eaten. Final touch, the leaves from the shoots of celery. A friend of mine's father said, if it goes in it, it's got to go on it. I said at the beginning that a stir fry was comforting and familiar, but what this is comforting and unfamiliar. I really wish I had a megaphone right now, because my enthusiasm for lamb ribs is evangelical. Not only are they the least expensive way of eating lamb, but the thing is, they are the most luscious. Hello, can I have the lamb ribs, please? Lamb ribs are cut from the breast, and I lived on breast of lamb when I was a student. I used to braise them in one piece all the time. Now I go for the ribs, which I roast with cumin seeds and nigella seeds, and I can tell you it's the way forward.
Thank you.
Because I want to keep the flavour of the lamb ribs to the fore, I'm not coating them in a sticky glaze, because this is really about the marriage between spice and meat. I start with nigella seeds. I mean, if you have a spice with the same name as you, it's a bit rude not to use it. Their slight lemon-scented pepperiness is boosted by the glorious pungency of cumin. Hard for me to have lamb without cumin. The fat on the ribs means I need only a little oil, just to help the spices stick to them. To highlight the sweetness of the meat, the saltiness of some soy sauce. All I need now is some garlic, quite a bit of garlic. Just mince them in. So all I do is schmooze the ribs in this scant mixture, just so they're glossed with conker shiny liquid and freckled with spices. Because they're a fatty cut, I roast them on a tin with a wire rack, so all the excess fat drips down, but still, it's that fat which gives them all the flavour and that lip-smacking stickiness. You certainly need a lot of napkins when you eat these. I was recently told that the literal translation of Nigella seed in Arabic is seed of blessing, which seems entirely right for any sort of meal. I cook these in a low oven just till the meat is tender and the fat crisp. With these, I make my feta and avocado salad, and I drape both avocado and feta in red onions, which I am steeping in red wine vinegar. And what this does is take out the acrid burn of the onion. I can't eat raw onions any other way. And by the time I'm ready to make the salad, these strips will have turned a beautiful lambent puce. Inspiration for this salad comes from my sister Horatia, who often serves chunks of feta sprinkled with Nigella seeds. Call it family solidarity. My version builds on this, adding avocado. The soft creaminess contrasts beautifully with the saltiness of the cheese. A scattering of pomegranate seeds provides fruity tang. And then those lucent strips of onion, all together so prettily pink and green. Finally, a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Along with some warm flatbread, this is all the accompaniment the lamb ribs need. And I'm ready for my sister and her lot to descend.
Here we are, ribs.
Oh,
Your favourite, is she?
Oh, divine.
Ella, that's for you.
Lovely. Do you like avocado?
Oh, these look fantastic.
How about some
And I'll just do mine.
favourites?
I'm going to just dig in, I'm afraid.
Oh, these are so good.
I'm smearing Nigella seeds all over my cheek, but I feel I'm entitled.
Yeah, give me one.
I always find baking both uplifting and calming. My apricot and almond cake is no flamboyant creation with fancy decoration, but that's precisely why I'm drawn to it. As it cooks, it wafts the fragrance of rosewater and cardamom and fills the place with serenity-inducing scent. Instead of soaking the apricots overnight in a bowl full of cold water, I simmer them briefly in a scant amount of liquid and 2 cardamom husks, and then I let them get cold, which doesn't take long. But this is more than a shortcut. What it does is it plumps up the apricots and infuses them with cardamom at the same time. These are for the top of the cake. It's about as near to crafts as I get. And you can probably see why. The rest of the apricots, the seeds from the cardamom pods, and this scant amount of syrup go into the processor. Every last bit. This is an apricot and almond cake, and I use ground almonds, 200 grams of them, instead of flour, thus making this gluten-free and dairy-free inadvertently. To add a bit of bite and glorious goldenness, 50 grams of fine polenta, not instant, and some sugar, 150 grams. Not too much sugar because there's a sweetness from the polenta and the ground almonds. Got a teaspoon of baking powder, 6 eggs, these help the cake to rise, and moisture. And now we blitz. Now the magic touch. The thing about lemon is that it really brings out other flavours. 2 teaspoons. And a final fragrant addition, some rose water. The thing about rose water is a small amount and it's full of exotic promise, and too much and it's your great aunt's bubble bath. So 1 teaspoon only. And then we blitz again. This is a 20cm spring form, and I've lined it and greased the sides, and I let the batter just flow in. A few quick bursts of unchallenging activity, and the batter is made, and the oven takes care of the rest. Now time for my modest artistic endeavour. I'm encircling the cake with apricots. This needs about 40 minutes in a 180-degree oven. Once the oven's worked its magic, and while the cake is still warm, I glaze it with some apricot jam that's been made more spreadable by a spritz of lemon juice. Then to finish, a scattering of finely chopped pistachios. And the gleaming goldenness of the cake and the tender green of the pistachios make this a thing of simple beauty. Warm spiced cauliflower and chickpea salad is one of my favourite simple suppers. It relies on those 2 basic ingredients, but transforms them. I want the cauliflower in small florets, or as small as the constraints of my patience will allow. I can't take much credit for this transformation because it's all down to the warm spices and the heat of the oven. It's just a bit of regular olive oil. And now the spices. Just a little cinnamon to evoke the sweetness of a balmy night in Morocco. I'm going to be a bit heavier-handed with the cumin, a spice that's irresistible to me. I want to disperse the spices in the oil to stop them clumping in the oven later. And now, in these go. The oil is just enough to help the spices stick to the cauliflower and to stop the cauliflower from drying out in the oven. Roast cauliflower is a glorious thing. It doesn't hurt either that there's very little washing up involved. Right, this goes into a hot oven, and I mean hot. I don't need to wash this up. I just add the cauliflower's partner in crime, some chickpeas. You can use canned chickpeas too, but the ones in a jar are really lush. to these, I want the heat of harissa, Moroccan chili paste. I'm dolloping in quite a lot because both the cauliflower and chickpeas can withstand a bit of fierceness. I love the way the tomatoes almost ooze into a dressing in the heat of the oven. The cauliflower has already lost its Victorian pallor, and things are really going to brighten up for it now. Love having an implement in each hand. Makes me feel busy, but in an unchallenging way. And this goes back in just so the cauliflower cooks a little more. The chickpeas are already cooked. And the wonderful thing about the oven's heat is that the cauliflower will soften, but it doesn't get soggy. I'm grabbing a hefty amount of parsley because I don't want it as mere decoration, but as the salad leaf itself. I know there's quite a lot here, not that it's stopped me before, but this is fantastic cold as well. Packed lunch tomorrow. Little salt. And some gorgeous ruby jewels of pomegranate. And a final flourish of parsley. I find this sort of cooking just the perfect way to decompress. And I am going to continue my relaxation program with this. Everything's got to be smooth.
Action. Action.
I've been told that the literal translation in Arabic for Nigella seed is seed of blessing, which I rather like. Maybe that's going too far.
Okay, stop here.